Listen to me. We don't want to kill any of you. But trust me, we will. Wake them up a little!
Outlaw, bank robber and gang leader, Dutch van der Linde is a central character in both Red Dead Redemption and its new sequel. But just who is this infamous renegade? Dutch is a man built on ideals. He sees himself as somewhat of a Robin Hood type figure, using his gang to take from the rich to give to the poor. To many people, he serves as a symbol of a romanticised version of the Wild West, a champion of the little person who fights for freedom and liberty against the ever-encroaching control of the government.
We aren't thieves, John. We're fighting for something a bit like you. Only we're fighting for an idea, not just for ourselves.
This idealistic vision inspires Dutch and his gang to commit their many crimes, as they justify robbery, kidnapping and murder in the name of this vision of a savage utopia. Now, while in modern society this might seem like a barbaric point of view, it wasn't uncommon at the time. Many people supported the desire to return to the ways of the Old West, which promotes survival, discipline and courage in the face of hardship. Opposing the Old West is the federal government, which represents civilization, law, social order and technology, and by its very nature an end to the ideals of the Old West. As such, Dutch fights back against these oppressors and justifies his killing of innocents and lawmen as a way of stopping the corrupt government from destroying everything he believes in. However, the question becomes, is Dutch's idealism really just an excuse for him to mindlessly kill and rob people? This is a major question around the character, who over time grew more violent and erratic to a point where his sanity would be called into question.
Easy, Dutch.
She's a parting gift from me.
Oh! God damn!
In the original Red Dead Redemption, Dutch expresses some remorse for his actions in his final moments. He tells John that he couldn't stop fighting for his ideals, even though he realised long ago that it was a futile effort. In his attempts to change the world for the better, he and his gang had instead become the worst humanity has to offer, and in the end, Dutch himself caused the gang to fall apart.
But I can't give up, neither. I can't fight my own nature. That's a paradox, John. You see.
However, in the new game, we see Dutch at a much younger age, and his gang at the height of their power. The futility of their efforts might not have fully dawned on Dutch yet, and he could still believe that he could win. These questions around whether Dutch and his gang's actions can be justified through their ideologies will be central to the story in Red Dead Redemption 2. The gang has become notorious, and we all know the path that Dutch is walking is a dark one. But as Arthur Morgan, just how loyal will we be to Dutch and the Old West?
Do you have my back?
Always, Dutch.
After his ideologies and beliefs, the next most important thing to know about Dutch is what he means to his gang. There are plenty of outlaws in the Wild West, but very few like Dutch and those he keeps close to him. Most of the criminals you'll meet in the game do what they do for selfish reasons, be it their own wealth, power or pleasure. However, the Van der Linde gang claim to do what they do purely to protect their way of life. From their perspective, they are the heroes. They're essentially Robin Hood and his merry men, and they believe that the collateral damage of innocent lives lost is a price worth paying to keep the government out. This all works because Dutch is not just some average thug. He's well educated and charismatic, and to many of those in the gang, he serves as almost a father figure. This was particularly prevalent with John Marston, who joined the gang at a very young age. Dutch taught him how to shoot, hunt, read, and most importantly, survive. Arthur Morgan, the player character in the new game, is a similar case. He was also taken under Dutch's wing at a young age, before rising up to become his head enforcer. This combination of philosophy and parental leadership imbued the gang with a strong sense of loyalty and cohesion, to a point where they're more like a family. It's very easy to draw parallels between Dutch's gang and cults or people's beliefs being used to radicalise them.
You and your friend there, the professor, we're gonna kill the both of you.
Why you want to do a thing like that?
I don't know. Sport, I guess.
We know from the events of the previous game that Dutch would eventually drive the gang apart as he descended into madness, and in this new game we're likely to see the beginning of this as Arthur questions the true motives of the gang's activities.
Stay strong. Stay with me.
You have to love yourself a fire.
Dutch van der Linde is a notorious thief, murderer and gang leader wanted in 3 states. However, he's also a well-educated and charismatic father figure who sees himself as a hero fighting against the evil of the federal government and everything it represents. To some characters, he's their champion who fights for everything they believe in. To others, he's a madman who uses his beliefs to radicalise children and turn them into murderers. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you will get to meet a younger Dutch than we have ever seen before, at a time when he and his gang were at the height of their power and the West was still wild. We know where Dutch's story ends, but now we can learn more about how it began.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a robbery.
Sons of Dutch makes us brothers. Sometimes brothers make mistakes.
You'll never change. I know that.